Hey guys, this is Austin, and this is the Ultimate Gaming Setup 2.0. So, big shout out to LG for sponsoring this video and letting us build this awesome setup. The star of the show is the new SJ9 soundbar. I end up using soundbars a lot, not only for my personal setup, but also here in the office. And the big reason for that is that while a full surround sound system sounds nice, I don't know, I'm always a little bit nervous about like annoying my neighbors about stuff. Whereas with the soundbar, I actually feel a lot better about being able to just crank the volume and not have to worry about it. This is a lot bigger than stuff I usually unbox. We've got the remote and the soundbar. So Ken measured this, and the soundbar should be pretty much the exact width of not only the TV, but the stand. After looking at this giant box, I was expecting the soundbar to be bigger. What's cool about this is it actually has some top firing speakers for Atmos support. I'm not totally sure how well this space is going to work with Atmos. The idea is that to get a little bit more of a surround sound feel, not only is it sending sound at you, but it's also bouncing sound off of the ceiling, which in theory should give you a much more surround sound. This is actually a lot thinner than I thought it was going to be. So, will it actually fit? Looks like it's gonna be close. Oh. All right, you know what? Props to Ken, this actually fits literally perfectly. It actually touches both edges, but it doesn't go over. That's actually pretty cool. We also have in the middle of this, the subwoofer, which is not small. All right, so that whole thing about not being able to annoy the neighbors, I take it back. All right, so I may have slightly misjudged how big this was. It still should fit with the setup though. So we're actually gonna be doing some interesting stuff beyond just the sound part of our gaming setup. So Ken has spent the last couple days building this. So essentially it's a way of getting the TV off the table and actually floating. So not only does that mean that we have plenty of clearance for our speaker, but because of this cool design of having a couple pieces of wood here with the mount, we can actually also just move the TV easily. So the setup is actually starting to come together, but we have a lot of work to do, as you might be able to tell. So, montage time! So after a frantic afternoon of work, we have the setup, and it actually looks pretty good. So there's a lot going on here, but to start, we actually have the TV. Paired with the SJ9 soundbar is a 55-inch LG E6 TV. So not only is this OLED, but it also supports 4K and HDR. Almost more important than the resolution though is that OLED display. Seriously, a good OLED TV looks so good. It completely puts everything else to shame. But paired with the SJ9, I'm excited to see, more importantly, hear what it sounds like.
Hey guys, this is Austin. My voice might be gone, but what isn't is the MacBook Air. Why does this still exist in 2017?
All right, that actually sounds pretty good. So with the SJ9, not only are we getting that subwoofer, which is way bigger than I thought, but we also have the speakers inside here that gives it the 5.1 surround, and the two top firing speakers. So the way we've got this set up is that we have the PS4 Pro connected to the TV, so we're getting full 4K HDR there, and then the TV is passing audio into the SJ9 via HDMI. That means that not only can we control everything from one spot, but we're also getting the best audio quality. What's cool about this setup is that the actual subwoofer itself is wireless. So besides needing to plug it in, this is the nice clean setup. And speaking of the setup, as you can see, Savage Kenny has been hard at work. So not only do we have waifus, but we also have cool stuff too. So we've got our Pip-Boy action, more waifus because this is Ken's setup. Sometimes I have to deal with waifus in order to get a really cool setup. I feel that's a pretty fair trade. We also have our shelf full of Nintendo stuff, including the NES Classic, the Game Boy Color that I unboxed a couple years ago, as well as the Famicom, which is actually something we did a video on and never posted. And on this side, we have another slightly more adorable waifu, some Lego stuff thanks to Jimmy, got a DeLorean, PS3, Xbox. It's a cool setup, but all the stuff on the side is just for show. What really counts is what we have inside the console. If you're wondering why I'm standing, it's because there was a certain malfunction with the couch, and it's now in 8 pieces right beside Ken. Wah, wah, wah. That stuff is actually scaring me a little bit right now. I feel like this is about to actually be loud. Yo! That sounds stupid. Can you even hear me right now? Okay, so this is actually really loud. That sub has such a punch. I've never heard a soundbar sound like this. I am 100% surprised. You know what it sounds like? Especially with that bass, this is gonna sound like a really weird comparison. It sounds like listening to a movie theater. Like it has that huge just punch. Okay, so we didn't quite have time to get everything wired up yet. Even playing on the Xbox One at 1080p, it looks nice. It does sound good too.
A few moments later.
The neighbors literally just knocked. All right, I'll turn it down, I just love the story of this video. We start out by saying, I like using soundbars because they don't annoy the neighbors. Then it got really loud and annoyed the neighbors, and now we got complaints. Little tip, guys, don't crank your soundbar up to 100% volume when you're doing a video. To be fair, that tells you that it actually is really loud. In case you were doubting me, that's pretty good proof.